The containers are one of the most important layout tools in the Wix Studio. It can hold all your elements and you can move it anywhere on your page. Unlike the sections which are fixed on the page, you can actually move the container anywhere. You can also pin it to the page or multiple pages. So let me show you how to actually use the container. Most people think that you just have to add the elements, but creating a responsive container takes a lot more effort. So I'm going to show you the best practices to create a responsive container. You can add the container either using the quick add. Right here you have the container element, or you can go to the containers here and you have some empty containers, design containers, and the hover containers. We are going to design a custom product card. This product card will need multiple elements, so you can easily understand how to actually design a responsive card. And the key to that is the CSS grid. If you select the container and go to the advanced CSS grid in your inspector panel and click on apply, you can actually divide the container into multiple cells. You can go here and choose any of these layouts. So I'm going to go to others. Now for the product card, we need an image, the product name, we need the pricing, the add to cart button, and the quick view button. So these are 5 rows. And if you are looking for buttons side by side, you can add 2 columns. Otherwise, just keep it at 1. Once you have done that, click on apply. And now you have 5 rows right here. Now the first thing I'm going to do is quickly add an image. So I can go here and add the image like this. Now the next thing I'm going to do is go to these elements here, location in the grid cell, and select the grid cell in which I want to add this image like this. And now you can stretch it like this. Don't worry about the size of the image. We will fix it in a moment. In the next cell here, I'm going to add the product name. So let's go to the text elements and add an H3 heading. Go to the size and let's set the width to 100%. In the third box, we will need the price. Now we need the original price as well as the discounted price. So we have 2 prices in here. Now you can approach this using 2 methods. You can either stack 2 text elements together or you can add another container. For the sake of this tutorial, I'm going to use the container. I'm going to add it in the third grid cell like this and stretch it like this. Now we are going to repeat the grid cell method. So apply the CSS grid. This time I'm going to use 2 by 1 like this. Next up, simply add the text for your pricing. If your text is too small, like less than 320 pixels in width, you can use the hug responsive behavior. Let's call it the original price. Press Ctrl D to duplicate it. And let's assign it to the second cell like this. And this time I'm going to align it to the right. So these are our original price and this will be our discounted price. In the next grid cell, I'm going to add a add to cart button. And I'm going to use another button. This one will go to the last grid cell, align to absolute center. Right now, this design is not making any sense. So let me show you how to actually set the sizes here and make it actually responsive. If you go to the layout section here, open the rows, you have the size option for each grid cell right here. For the image one, what you can do here is set a minimum size option. So for example, I can go with 300 pixel. All right, so you don't have to now work on this image here. So now the minimum size, the minimum height of this grid cell is set to 300 pixel, and it will never go below that value. For the second row, I'm going to set it to minimum content, and this will quickly snap the size of this grid cell to the size of your element inside this grid cell. The same goes here. Now, inside it, we have two different containers, right? We have this container, the child container, and then the main container. So we have to set each of them. For the columns, you don't have to change anything. If you want, you can change the settings, but I like the layout here. But for the row, I'm gonna set this to minimum content. Right, so now the container inside this uh, container will be set to minimum size. Finally, go to the main container and set it to minimum content. And now you have the minimum height of the child container. For the buttons here, I'm going to do the same thing like this. And finally, I am going to add some gap between these elements. So here you can do two things. You can either go to the gaps section. So I can add like 10 pixel and it will create a constant space between the elements. If you want a more control on the gap between the elements, you can also use the margin. So I can set it to 0, for example. Select my heading here. And right here, I have the margin. So on top, I can add like 8 pixel. And in the bottom, I can add 16 pixel. The original and discounted price is good. For button, I'm going to add 16 pixel again. On top as well as on bottom. This is totally up to you. What I ask you is to use the multiples of the same value. So you can add 16, you can add 7, 14, and so on, 10, 20, 15, 30, and so on. All right, so now we have a design here. Finally, if you want to create some space from the sides, you can also use the padding right here. So I can add, for example, 4 pixel. So it creates some space from the sides. Let me quickly change the images and the headings. Finally, you can set a minimum width as well. So go to the size here. And in the width, you can set a minimum width value here. So if you are happy with this design, you can set the minimum width to 21.3% or in pixel. That will be much better. So go to the pixel. Let's make it 280. And this is the best part. When you resize the container, it automatically resizes all the child elements. So it is much better for the responsive behavior. You can also add the same value in the minimum width. And if you go to the tablet now, you can see that the width and the height doesn't change. It is responsive. There are some issues with the text, and that's because we haven't set the responsive behavior here, but you can easily change that. If you haven't watched my website typography video, make sure to watch that. That will make sure that your text are responsive as well. All right, so now you have a responsive container right here. So yeah, this is how you can use the containers and the CSS grid in Wix Studio. You can make more design changes using the layout. I will create some more videos on container about how to change the shape of the container with CSS, and many more things. But for this video, that's it. I hope you learned something. Thanks for watching.